So, everyone voted on the next Pokemon to rip apart in the community tab. Thank you all to my loyal supporters for showing your interest in my content. You asked and you shall receive. We're going to talk about Oranguru. Oranguru is bad in singles. No one is going to contest that. So let's look at Oranguru's stats. And none of its stats are very impressive. 90 HP, barely below average. No, attack 60, not really going to use that. Defense 80, no, just like okayish. Like these are special attack 90, again also barely below average. Special defense 110, barely above average. Speed 60. Like these are like Clefable stats, but like Clefable is like hard carried by like a lot of really good traits, especially in singles and doubles. Good ability, good type. Normal Psychic's just not that good. And like, however, it's easy to see that it's bad in singles because it's a Pokemon that was designed for doubles. Like you can see that in its abilities, like Inner Focus can't be made to flinch from fake out moves. Telepathy doesn't get damaged by its allies, and Symbiosis. An ally uses its item, this Pokemon gives its item to that ally immediately. So all these are bad in singles, but actually like decent or at least usable in doubles. Though pretty sure nobody uses Symbiosis, they always opt for Telepathy or Inner Focus. And it's also easy to see with its signature move. And its signature move is Instruct. The target immediately uses its last used move, fails if the target has not made a move. It basically lets it so like it can make an ally use a powerful attack again. So especially if it's a powerful wall breaker, it effectively gets 2 turns in doubles. When this thing came out back in Sun and Moon, like a lot of people really hyped this thing up years ago. Thought it would be like a nice, cool gimmick. And as we know, gimmicks don't really work in Pokemon. Man, of course that wouldn't matter solely for the competitive format if you could use it in like a casual story through the playthrough. Man, wouldn't it be great if you could play around with its doubles potential in a Pokemon game like the critically acclaimed Pokemon Coliseum, where the main battle system is doubles and is actually challenging? Just like the official format being doubles, you know, instead of the main series where you play singles and the singles system they have set up in main series Pokemon that rewards almost no thinking. Well, anyway, surely that since Oranguru is designed for doubles, we can see better results for it than like singles where it's down in the like bottom tier. Like, assuming like when it exists. Like, yeah, like it's pretty much just a bad Pokemon, and in singles, there's no real justification for it in there. But anyway, it doubles. Wow, here we got Goldenrod Press, Japan's VGC 2017 tier list, back in like early Sun and Moon era meta. Now here, they have Oranguru around, like, let's see, where was it? Should be here somewhere. Oh, there it is. A rank. A tier and VGC 2017. Now that sounds pretty good, right? Like it must be totally worth using, right? Actually, which format was this from? I'm not. It says VGC. Okay, yeah, there's Tapu Koko and there's all the Tapus, so all those are there, and they still have it in A rank. So clearly, that must mean like we will get good results if they have that high of an opinion of it, right? And let's look at so here we have the VGC 2017 World Championship results, and these are like all the winners from Worlds, all the best players from around the world gathered together to use their teams, and we have one Oranguru here by some South Korean player, Jae-Ming Tsao. I think I pronounced that right. Forgive me if I didn't. One Oranguru. Not sure what he's using it for, but maybe the Kartana, perhaps the Gyarados with Moxie. That probably has Moxie, though I would imagine it probably has Intimidate. But anyway, that's one Oranguru. In 41st place and nothing else up here. Surely there's another Oranguru around here somewhere, and it's all the way down here. Number 73, Italian player named Nico Davide Coneta. I think that's how it's pronounced again. And look, he's basically using the exact same team, except like it's a Tapu Lele instead of a Tapu Koko. Don't you just love Pokemon's diversity and its top up meta? So yeah, not that good then. And here we have another tier list for VGC 2017, at least by like, I don't know how reliable, or it says it's always current, best I could find. And here we have Oranguru like way lower, like mid-tier, B+. So yeah, things don't really look that good for Oranguru. But wait, there's more. Now, Oranguru exists in Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, so surely we can have a better look at how it fares, and it's not even on the tier list. Not even in C rank. At all. Like, this thing pretty much isn't on the radar for most recent Regulation H set. Like, they're using it, but like they don't have a high of opinion of it. And like, that's basically goes to show like even with the stats back then and now, like you look on Pikalytics, Oranguru, not barely above 1% of usage, 1.32%. Like it's all the way down here. People are using Lilligant and Alolan Raichu and even Clefairy more than Oranguru. Pairing it up with apparently stuff like Torkoal, I guess for Overheat or something. Trick Room, so it can and protect. Like this, I'm pretty sure like foul play. I guess it doesn't really like have a lot of options to, like, as you can see, it basically only has like only a few sets it can reliably run, and pretty much all of them are going to be making use of Instruct and Trick Room and not much else. So, and that was VGC 2017, but how about we look at more recent stats? Like, VGC 20... Like, this is VGC, what was this? 2023 Masters, okay. So, like, this is relatively recent as, like, far as tournament usage and data goes. And as you can see, we got, let's see, Oranguru, like, not even 1%. 0.35%, like almost next to no one is like using this thing, tied with Clodsire of all things. Ditto, Magnezone, Grafaiai, Zoroark, Spiritomb. Ditto and Grafaiai are definitely like gimmick Pokemon, and they're getting just as much usage as Oranguru. And would you look at that? One of the teammates, it is always paired. Like its team build is like, look at its moveset and options, like Instruct 100%, Trick Room 100%, Yawn 100%, Psychic 50%, or Foul Play 50%. So like even less moveset options people are opting for, and because I guess that's the best they could get as far as percentage, because no one's using this fucking thing. And look at that. It's 100% of the time teammate is King Gambit. Oh boy, King Gambit. Pokemon is totally a game of strategy and depth like chess, one will insist, as they are cornered into a classic rock, paper, scissors, or coin flip situations that this thing creates. Like, a top tier like King Gambit can carry Oranguru, but Oranguru can only do so much to help a top tier. Oranguru can only be as good as whatever Pokemon it's next to use Instruct. Like VGC, like here on VGC 2024 Regulation H, most recent set, after a ton of the strong stuff is banned, and it's still like really low down there, number 79. As far as like and this is like the Switch usage, so like for some reason like the official Nintendo Switch usage doesn't really show like usage stats. It just shows like rankings. So like we can assume it's like way down there as far as usage stats anyway, because of that really low placement. It just happens to be a much bigger sample size from the number of people playing on the cartridge, at least I would imagine. And of course, with the top tier like King Gambit, like Oranguru, as far as teammates go, it's like 2% of the time. 65% of the time, it's of course going to be paired up with Fluttermane. Oh boy, Fluttermane. Oh. Like, the point I'm trying to make by showing off all this data is that Oranguru is just trash, even in the meta it was designed for. Like, and to show off the opposite end of the spectrum of how Oranguru could be like actually good in a better designed battle system and better designed game, we have Yoodooit. Yep, from Yokai Watch 2 and Yokai Watch 3. Shady, C rank, Ranger roll. I'm pretty sure it's Drain attribute. Anyway, so let's look at Yoodooit. Yoodooit is basically a Oranguru before Oranguru. It debuted in Yokai Watch 2, which came before Pokemon Sun and Moon, which tried so hard to be a Yokai Watch game after Pokemon Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire got outsold by Yokai Watch 2 in Japan. So with Yoodooit stats, we got like that 268 in HP, like that's like average-ish, fairly above average. 98 strength, doesn't really matter, not gonna use that much, like that's below average too. Spirit of 134, that's pretty good, pretty high up there. Defense 81, barely above like Oranguru's base 80, and even slower than Oranguru at 41. Wait time of 6, that's bad. Like, 6 and 7 are the longest wait times in the game, so if he switches out, you really have to wait a bit for him to come in again. Its spirit stat, its decently high spirit stat only really matters for its ultimate. These stats are like slightly below average, which makes sense because it's C rank. Nothing that special here. I'm pretty sure SP and N4 have better spread than this at C rank and B rank, and are mysterious to boot, which helps with magic attacker teams. But like, the real thing that like separates it from like any other yokai is the benefit of its skill that no other yokai in the game has. Now, it's basically you first, another linked yokai will fight instead of this one. A big issue with Oranguru in doubles is that it can't do much to ensure its survival. It's out in the front with an ally with limited defense. It's forced to set up Trick Room and run something like Protect for those rock, paper, scissors situations, just praying it can survive and hopefully get off a turn of Instruct to help something. It's screwed over partially by its battle system and especially by its bad stat spread. Yoodooit doesn't really have this weakness, especially thanks to the battle system it's in. Thanks to how board movement and board control works with defensive links in Yokai Watch 3, Yoodooit can just stay in the backmost tiles behind something and still be linked to something, do nothing, and its linked ally in front of it gets to focus on damage output. You know, sort of like a king in chess, surrounded by much stronger pieces. Actual strategy from a chess game, unlike Pokemon. In Yokai Watch 2's competitive format, you would actually see this guy a lot because of how broken Slimomander is. Slimomander can steamroll things thanks to its skill. Its skill makes it so it can hit 3 opponents at once so long as it uses its magic attacks. It was really strong, but it was slow. With Yoodooit, it basically overcomes that speed by getting another free turn to hit 3 opponents at once again. This strategy was pretty broken in Yokai Watch 2. You can sort of do the same thing in Yokai Watch 3, it's just not as good. So like, we're gonna watch some gameplay footage like showing that off. video by Mitake. I'll make sure to link that in the description so you can watch it for yourself. This team is going to be built specifically around Slimer and Yokai Watch 3. And Yoodooit is there. Like, the only other teams I could find were Teducator teams, but they were just, like, not that interesting to show off. We'll have to talk about Teducator and Nocturne another day, but someday, but not today. Now, let's go over the team. Now, here we got Dumbcop, pretty standard for Magic Attacker teams. Peerless Soul in one slot, 1 HP Soul on another slot so it can get off a Magic Attack boost. A 3-stage 30% Spirit buff to one of its allies, which is going to be the Slimomander with its magic attacks. Here we got the Slimomander. Prestigious Treasure boosted to S rank, and 162 Spirit. Still very slow. And it's carrying a Gutsy Bones Soul Gem to boost its crit rate. Now, I think it's the time we talk about Slimomander while we're here. In Yokai Watch 2, he was absolutely broken. There was no reason not to use him. In Yokai Watch 3, they made him way weaker, so he's harder to use. His skill makes it so his magic attacks can attack all 3 opponents at once. And they basically made it so that the damage output on his magic attacks in Yokai Watch 3 are like way weaker. They don't hit as hard, at least when calced off his skill. I don't know by how much, but it's enough that he can't easily steamroll stuff. They also made him A rank. Since he was B rank in Yokai Watch 2, you could put 6 of him on a team legally and competitive. In Yokai Watch 3, the buff to A rank now makes it so you can only have 2 of him at maximum, because as we see here in the restriction, you can only have 2 S ranks and 2 A ranks each at max. Even if you Prestigious Treasure to put like two of this guy at S rank, so that you could have like 4 at maximum, that strategy doesn't really work or get anywhere. It's not that good. They basically nerfed him by buffing him in a way. They rebalanced a top tier that was causing problems. Now, when Pokemon does that, remember Smeargle with Dark Void? Game Freak nerfed Dark Void, so now Darkrai has to suck, but Smeargle still saw usage. And then when they removed Dark Void from being able to be sketched by Smeargle got weaker, but now Darkrai sucks without any justification to using it. So thank you for that really good game design, Game Freak. Thank you for butchering a Pokemon because of the bad balancing and bad game design. We really appreciate that, you lovely multi-billion-dollar company at Game Freak. Anyway, let's continue. Yeah, Mitake is basically crying because like it's not as good as it used to be. Now, anyway, and here we have the star of the show, Yoodooit. And Yoodooit here is carrying a Schmoopy Soul Gem, which I find that funny because Schmoopy is not good at all in Yokai Watch competitive, but here its Soul Gem kind of is. It's case by case, but it's helpful. Classic case of good game design where a monster better justifies its existence with a strong and useful item. The Schmoopy Soul Gem basically does the same thing as Moogleon's skill, where it buffs the spirit stat of an ally in front of the user. So not only is Yoodooit gonna make Slimomander attack more often, but it's also gonna hit harder with its magic attacks thanks to the buff from this Schmoopy Soul Gem. Gonna be, and here we have Je ne sais quoi with Shielding Soul and Blown as Tappa Soul. Je ne sais quoi is an eerie S rank ranger role. It has a skill that basically buffs all or boosts the amplifies. It makes buffs and debuffs of all yokai stronger. So like the buff from this Dumbcop is going to be even stronger thanks to this Je ne sais quoi existing on the team. And here we have Shielding Soul Fu 2. I want to make a video on him especially one day also, and it'll be amazing. His skill is a blanket effect that negates elemental resistances. So like anything that's gonna be resistant to like Slimomander's fire magic attacks is pretty much not gonna have that resistance anymore because Food 2 exists here. And here we have Shielding Soul Infor to help with the Mysterious Unity, extra defense, and cover back row with its ultimate. See these better defense and spirit and HP, even with prestigious treasure boosts better than Yoodooit. Like it's slower, but it's still bulkier, hits harder, and has better HP. You could say SP and Infor have like a unique stat spread, and like I said, way better than Yoodooit's. But like Yoodooit, it has its skill to help separate it. So basically, this is a showcase of what's gonna happen. Like normally, Bitter Batter is a fire attribute yokai that would be resistant to fire magic, but like thanks to Food 2 and thanks to all these buffs, like it's gonna be taking some unresisted neutral damage that hits decently hard. So let's get into it. And here we got the Dumbcap buff, plus the Yoodooit buff from the Soul Gem, because you could see that Spirit buff on Slimomander even as it was starting. Versus Umbrelenma, Dumbcap, and Robocap. Normally, Robocap would be resistant to the fire magic from Slimomander, but like thanks to Food 2 being there, it's now going to take neutral. Dumbcap taking that with 0 because of Peerless Soul, and Robocap going for the water magic, doing a lot to the Dumbcap. And here goes the Slimomander. Yeah, as you can see, like it wasn't really that strong, like barely above 60, like decent chip damage. But here comes the Yoodooit, letting it act again, and still not very strong. The Dumbcap boost is going to at least help the Yoodooit, like, for when it uses its ultimate, because, like, its ultimate is a magic attack. Then we get the switch out into the Je ne sais quoi. So now it's going to take not much damage from the Robocap magic attacks or the Umbrelenma. And the Slimomander goes again. The Dumbcap dodged earlier because of its skill and high speed, because of Slimomander being slow. And here we get the opponent on the defensive, switching out to what I think is either a Rigignon or a Jibanyan. And then we to a No Way and Shielding Soul Alpina. No Way. Slimomander acts again. No, not that much damage. I think, pretty sure the No Way is carrying bonus top of Soul Gem. Alpina getting a heal off, and Slimomander getting to act again, and crit damage boost from the Gutsy on Soul Gem. We swap to the Infor. Since they're all in the back row, that means like Yoodooit can now use his ultimate. Unlike that's actually another thing that I guess also makes like Yoodooit like way stronger than Oranguru, is that its ability basically does all the work while it can still act, and at least with its ultimate, it basically gets to fire off a decently strong magic attack with its ultimate covering the back row, while still like letting it do its thing. Like Oranguru basically has to pray it can survive long enough to use Instruct for it to matter, and then never be able to really use like Psychic or Foul Play depending on the situation. And now the team is back up to full health because of that Drain magic attack's ultimate. Alpina using her ultimate to get the revive and some healing off. But then we have the Infor also covering the back row with her own ultimate. Like the part of like it's really good that they're able to cover the back row, especially with all these Drain magic attacks ultimates to keep the team healthy, because here's the because that also works in sync with Slimamander's board coverage, being able to cover the front 2 rows. Really good Sultimate coverage on this team. Here goes the Slimamander's Sultimate. It's a physical attack, so it won't hurt as hard, but it's still going to do decent chunks. And here comes the Fu2 Sultimate. All these low-rank Sultimate charges gonna really come in clutch. I think this is wind magic, so it's gonna hurt the No Way a lot. Okay, I guess not as much as I thought it would. I guess it's like neutral damage. I don't know. I'll have to look into YouTube. Fu2's, who's I know Fu2, whose main magic attack is like wind, but I guess its ultimate does neutral. And here comes the Umbral Enma, and it took a crit, so now it's dead. All that he's got left is the Alpina, and unless it has like its ultimate filled up, it's not going to be able to do much. And Yoodooit loafing. Even it's linked with the Slimamander, so it would have been able to act, but like I guess random loafing can kind of get around that. Now it gets stacked again, and here goes the Slimamander, getting the damage off. Still not much, very weak, but like that's the trade-off. Like you don't do as much damage, but you do it to like three opponents at once. Here comes the Sultimate from the Yoodooit. I guess they're trying to stall out until the Alpina gets her Sultimate up again so that she can like revive her allies, and the dumb cap goes down. Trying to protect the Alpina, but now they're in range for the Fu2 to do its ultimate now. Alpina gets her ultimate off, so now she can heal and revive. There's the Jinyan or Jibanyan. And the Fu2 gets the ultimate off, and not much because they're on Shielding Soul. And they got a bunch of HP back, so that helps them out. Like, when I make it okay, here comes the Slimamander's ultimate again, covering the front row, so now the No Way and Oranguru will be forced to take it. Physical attack, still not going to do much, but still enough to take out the Oranguru and the No Way. Fu2 getting swapped out for the Infor, so now they can cover the back row with his ultimate. I guess okay, and they managed to stall out long enough that it's about to go into sudden death. Like I guess this team, yeah, like Alpina basically slowed this game down on a good chunk. If they can't, like the Mitake has pretty much won this because like even with the Alpina, like unless it gets its ultimate off, it like won't have enough bodies to like survive sudden death. And here we go. Crit attack, 999 damage, and 999 damage from a combo, and dead. And that's the win. Yeah, like the Alpina basically made it slow down this team only a bit because of all the healing, because like Slimamander can't do that much damage even after all those buffs. And that was the team showcase. So, like, there's definitely other applications for Yoodooit, but that was like one that at least somewhat stood the test of time, because like you could do that in Yokai Watch 2 as well. Like, if we were to show up like a Teducator team, like we would see even more insane stuff that you can do with Teducator, but like Teducator and Dr. Nocturne merit their own video separate from Yoodooit, I feel. So that's why I didn't like bother doing that. I just wanted to focus like on Slimamander and like Yoodooit for now. So thank you all for watching, and just like I said, Yoodooit, consistent, it wins things by doing nothing, and Oranguru, is trash. Like, if you don't like that, go win tournaments with it. You won't, though. So, again, thank you all for watching. Thank you all for voting. Guess I'll set up a poll for the next idea for the video we can go over. And see ya.